Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all the registered participants today. I'm Vinod Nayak, and I shall be your host for this evening. Thank you for logging into this webinar session on influential leadership, need of the hour by Mr. Shinto Joseph. He's Director, Southeast Asia Operations, LDRA, India. I would request you to kindly keep your mics on silent mode, and you may use your video signals. The session will be for 60 minutes, and the question and answer sessions will be after the presentation. You're requested to type in your questions in the chat box, and we shall answer them at the last of the session. This session is the fifth in the series of webinars hosted by Transcat and Rotary Bangalore Sneha. All the previous webinars are uploaded on our website, www.transcat.in, in the news section. So you could look at it and you can view all the participants there. This session is being hosted by Transcat People Solutions Private Limited and Rotary Bangalore Sneha. Transcat is a pan-India management consulting company, one of the most sought-after catalysts for change. They transform people and organizations to excel in their field. Many consultants have worked with companies in US, Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and many of them are also recipients of prestigious awards. And 3 consultants are Guinness Book of World Record holders in Firewalk for changing the mindset of thousands of employees. We are a group of people with the right mix of knowledge, competency, experience, and attitude to contribute to our clients' success. Our vision is to become one of the most sought-after catalysts for a change in turn to transform people and organizations to exceed their expectations. Rotary Bangalore Sneha is a part of Rotary International District 3190. Rotarian Dr. S. Nithilila is the current president. This club has been very active during these testing times of COVID-19. The president herself has volunteered on numerous occasions and has distributed food and grocery supplies. Today's session is, the thought leader for today's session is Mr. Shinto Joseph. Mr. Shinto Joseph is currently working as Director Southeast Asia Operations at LDRA Technology Private Limited. It's a subsidiary of LDRA Limited, UK. He did his BTech in Computer Science from TKM College of Engineering, Kerala, and MBA in Marketing from School of Business and Management, Christ deemed to be University, Bangalore, where he is currently the president of the MBA Alumni Association. He's a distinguished alumnus award winner from Christ. With over 23 years of work in handling embedded software lifecycle solutions, he has built many teams and companies in the embedded systems field, working with cross-border delivery teams, technology partners, and industry regulators in the defense, aerospace, automotive, industrial, medical, rail, and nuclear sectors are his unique advantages. Today, he concentrates on creating a healthy ecosystem in the mission security and safety critical systems domain in Southeast Asia. His background includes own venture in 2000 and an MNC startup in 2010. He's highly passionate about innovation and skill building initiatives with many papers in the industry, academic, and government companies. He's also an organizer of many international technology conferences, an active member in several industry, academic, and professional bodies. He works closely with several government bodies under safety and security regulatory organizations. The wonderful are the next. Thank you. Over to Mr. Shinto Joseph.
Thank you, Vinod, for the nice introduction. First of all, I should thank Transcat and Rotary for inviting me. I see, a great audience. People, I assume, having different background. So welcome you all to this interactive learning experience. I'm sure at the end of the session, I also would have learned a lot from each one of you. Can I hear from you guys? Am I audible? Can someone type? My video, is it clear? Great.
Very clear, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Good. So the next say 50-55 minutes, I will take you through a learning experience where mostly I will share my experience, because to be frank, unlike many of you guys are attending this, I'm not a HR professional by qualification or even by practice. But throughout my life, this is my third decade in my professional life, I realized that the most passionate job which anybody can do is building people. And today, if you look at my Facebook or LinkedIn profiles, you will see I put a caption: enjoy building teams, people, teams, and organizations. And every day, my life is all about that. By following that path, to be frank, I believe, compared to many other people, I enjoy my job. I see my people around me becoming successful and substantially able to contribute to their growth path. And that growth eventually has seen that, helping me also to grow. So this is where I come from. And before I start, one disclosure: this presentation, my views are my personal views. I work for a UK-based multinational company called LDRA. It doesn't. My views are nothing to do with the company. To be frank, it's my personal opinions based on my experience. Of course, I would be quoting some examples of whatever I did, even in this organization. Some examples definitely would help, because I was the first employee in 2010, and interestingly, last Sunday, I completed 10 years in this organization. And this 10 years was, for us, I would say it's a roller coaster journey, ups and downs. But today, when I look back, the 10-year organization, which is part of a global organization of last 45 years, they've been in the business. And my team is now bigger than the parent company. And most of the new initiatives, it goes from my team. And some people called me mad guy, because always I talk about innovation. I always say every 3 months, we should have something new. And I strongly believe every year we should reinvent ourselves. Now, with this background, let me introduce to the agenda. So this is what I would do. I will just brief you what is really happening around us. Even though many people talk a lot of negatives, I'm seeing a lot of positives. You won't believe me, guys. My team in the last 3 months, I found they're more efficient, they're more innovative, and they're doing more things. Even this session I'm doing, for me, COVID was a different experience. It actually took me back to my learning. I spend a lot of time nowadays at home. Otherwise, to be frank, I used to shuttle every week one city across Southeast Asia. So my wife told me after marriage, this is the first time more than 15 days we are spending together. But of course, practically, when I talk to my friends, they also say it has got problems, because you spend too much time also. There are issues. Last week I was talking to my friend in Riyadh. He told me his opposite door people, husband and wife, they always used to fight and they decided to divorce. And after this issue, there's no noise in that home. Looks, they have decided to settle down. But he hinted on a lighter note, Shinto, we might think about a divorce because it is too much. So this is where we are, and I'll just set the context, and then I will also talk a little bit about what was happening in terms of work front, global workforce, and how leadership as a concept got evolved over a period in this last 2-3 decades. And then I will talk about how do we survive in today's world. We have a situation where suddenly things have changed, and organizations are totally shocked. Many of them don't even know what to do. So in that context, we need a different types of leadership, so which can influence people to drive more action on the ground. An upside down organization, I would say, where people are the bosses. And finally, a little bit about how do you plan your career to take up a influential thought leadership profile. Okay, we all talk about, jobs. It is very simple. I mean, all of us pass comments. Leaders say that, I am very down to earth. I'm very open to comment. I'm open to criticisms. But I'm not sure how many of us are really open for criticisms. I'm a big fan of design thinking. And last 2-3 years, I try to practice a little bit of that. And one thing which I liked in design thinking is basically questioning the questioning process itself. Because I had seen many a times in my team, people ask me questions basically to please me. I found that is not the right approach. We need to question the questioning process itself. So this is the world which we are living today. All of you know about the VUCA. I slightly changed the C, the complexity to novelty, to UNA. So my argument is today with COVID, everything has changed overnight. Something new is come, and I don't know what would be new tomorrow. So we are now driven by a bunch of realities which we have never seen in our life. So VUCA has become UNA, which calls for different types of leadership. The old, centralized command control approach is impossible to be implemented because we don't see employees don't see us. And the old workflows which we have implemented in our organization no more working. So we need to work in a different way unless we understand the part. Organizations in today's context and survive only because of the frontline employees and the managers who are managing them, not the bosses. Bosses, many a times in today's organizations, I believe they have become a roadblock for many organizations. And unless people understand that in this new reality, need a complete relook on our approach. How do we empower? And so that we can handle the shock waves which are coming to us. Whenever we get a shock like this, what has happened, it need not be COVID here, and anything can go wrong in our life. First, we see the shock. We have different theories on that. One theory says the first we will get the shock, we probably will deny it, probably will start showing anxiety, probably will start showing bargaining, we'll try to negotiate, can I settle with this? And finally, you may or may not agree. You argue further because you're trying to delay it as much as possible. You don't want to accept it. Me and you, I'm talking about, it includes me and you, everybody. Finally, that can lead to depression. Earlier we accept the reality, we can come out of it. This is applicable to all of us. So the new era, the UNA era, requires a different organization structure. This is what I said. COVID is the biggest leadership disruptor in today's world. This is before COVID on the left side, the BC, and we have the AC after COVID. Now, after COVID, if an organization needs to survive, the boss needs to understand employees are the bosses, not the real boss of the company. So I'll give you a small example. We smelled this trouble in the month of February. I spent a lot of time interacting with people. So I got the smell that something is going wrong in the world, especially Yuan and the Chinese stories. India was nowhere in the picture. Even in Kerala, the first patients were yet to land. And but I smelled something is going wrong. So what we did is, leadership has got different style, right? The democratic, authoritarian, whatever leadership style you follow. I believe in democratic process, but then when something goes wrong like this, the democratic process will delay things. So what I did is 1 week I spent on this, analyzing what need to be done. I just came back. Hey, I understood. I need to empower my people in the bottom line. I mean, the people who are really working on the frontline people. So what do? We divided the whole organization into 6 teams. And in this kind of things happens, the biggest challenge for an organization is getting new business, generating new leads. That is the biggest challenge. So I put that as the biggest team, the sixth team. The first five are all feeding to the sixth team. So eventually what has happened is everybody in the organization is part of at least one team. Some are part of 2, 3 teams, not just managers. And believe me, none of these are driven by these senior managers. These are all driven by the juniors. And people suddenly ask, what are you trying to do? This is not what we did in the past. I said, watch guys, watch patiently for the next 45 days. You will see some real wonders happening. And they somehow had faith in me because sometimes I told them they called me a crack fellow. Outside, really, people call me a cranky guy. And because this is the kind of disruptions I used to do. And you won't believe, 45 days we reached a level, we don't need an office, everything is working. Of course, I had to sweat extra in the couple of initial weeks, 2, 3 weeks. And then after that, the team started taking up. We call it the collaborative working teams. So it is the frontline people, the juniors are now calling shots. And of course, managers are stepping into that. And initially they were also skeptical. What is really happening? Because this is not what we were doing earlier. So we had a IT infrastructure which was capable of supporting this transition. That is also very important because when you do this kind of transition, the organization should have the backend workflows and IT infrastructure that can support, especially the cloud-based architectures that can help you. It is not just people alone. People need supporting infrastructure to work. So coming back to the evolution of industrial revolution, today where we are, if you ask me, what has happened in the last couple of years is everything is connected. People are talking about increased efficiency, all these things Industry 4.0. I don't have to explain. But while doing that, a couple of changes that has happened in the industry and the way people are working. Let's see that. This is what has happened. We have this global workforce management. Earlier days, we were never used to talk about, I'm talking about 30 years back, the concept of multinational companies itself, many of you has not heard of. When I was studying as a student, that's the time the concepts like GATT, WTO, all these things came in. Today, if you look at the global organizations, they look at where they can get the work done cost effectively, where they can manufacture the items at a low cost way. That is where actually China identified. China became the factory of the world. And India became the IT powerhouse of the world. Today, both these countries are facing challenges. We are talking about China plus one story today, and services. India is no more cost-effective place because the cost structure in India went up substantially. But then in this transition, you can see the paradigm has completely changed, and organizations started going in a different direction. And this actually calls for further observation in terms of the evolution of the leadership paradigm. First, earlier days, companies were focus was on producing products. Now, after some time, what has happened is people said, hey, product alone will not work. People started talking about services. Of course, today, if you look at many companies, they call service also as a product, because the definition of product will help you to quantify, services into a box and package it, brand it, so that the experience can be measured in a much more quantitative way. The traditional services definition may not allow you many times, so that is where people try to productize the service itself. In fact, in my organization, every idea which I get it, I productize it, and finally we create a flyer out of it. And whenever we discuss something, my colleagues laugh at me and say, hey, next flyer, when is coming? So this is where we are today. And we probably need to, so I said from product to product and services. And in the last couple of years, when we look at, I think you hear something called outcome-based approach, where people are looking at a solution, probably a problem. I'm not to bother about your product. I'm not bothered about your services. I need outcome. I'll give you a classic example. Last week, I was attending a session where a global body where a Taiwan automotive manufacturing organization, a German company, their top man making a statement. It is a learning for all of us. It was shocking for many of us. And he said, I give work to India, service providers in India, as well as I give work to Eastern Europe service companies. The difference, he said, when I give work to India, the delivery manager in India will say, hey, I'm giving you 50 people. So what? 50 people means 50 headaches. Whereas the counterpart in Eastern Europe calls up this man and says, hey, what's your problem? How we can help you in solving your issues with the customer. And we got 50 people, but then, if you could tell me what is your end expectation, what is your customer is looking for, we will package it and I will own it. I will own this. Whereas here, the delivery manager is saying, it is your problem, I'm giving you 50 people. So see that, the difference. That guy is more bothered about, the outcome-based approach. So this is where the leadership comes into picture. A leadership is somebody who should look at what outcome your team can produce and not providing, some people. So this is something which even the service industry in India should look at. Of course, a lot of discussion is happening towards productization, consulting, a whole lot of value engineering, moving up the value chain. Ideally, if you ask me, this should be a conventional leadership. An ideal leader should be like this. He should be behind, he has planned his team, and so that the weaker ones are protected, the stronger ones are positioned in the right place. This is an ideal scenario. If you ask me, I compare me with the old, the new model I talk about, the COVID era leadership structure. It is, you will see a parallelism. There also, I'm telling the leader should initially step in, make some changes, and he should empower the frontline people. A slightly different approach, but then you can learn a lot from both these examples. Now, coming back to every leader faces, the biggest challenge today, if you ask me, everybody says change. There are only 2-3 things that doesn't change in this world. What does the change itself? Second, death and tax, which is a normal definition everybody gives. But there are other 3 factors also as far as change is concerned, which I'm looking at. As a leader, one should look at, what is changing around me. There are a lot of things changing, so I need to continuously observe what is really changing around. A lot of changes are happening in the environment, the business dynamics, regulation, taxes, taxations. Now we have a border issue with a friendly country. So we need to watch that. Today you saw a new guideline from the government. List down who all are the supply base for your private manufacturing companies. We also need to look at what needs to change in an organization, because not all need to change. Some aspects need to be changed. So as a leader, one should be continuously watching this part and what is not changing. There are certain things ideally should not change. Can anybody think about it? What should not change in an organization? Any loud thinking? So the value system of an organization should not change, right? I'll give you an example. 2010, I was hired by my UK company. I went to UK and with a lot of expectations, and I don't know what they will ask me. I asked one question to the board. What do you expect? We had one guy who was in charge of HR also. I asked him, what do you expect from me? So far, you have not asked me anything specific. No answer. So again, I repeated, what do you expect from me? They said, nothing. What? You hired me and you asked me to come all the way to UK, now you're saying nothing. No, Shinto, we built this company. At that time, it was the 35th year of the company. And they said, we are the 2010, today they have completed 45 years. We have completed 35 years. We have a reputation in the industry. The only thing what we are asking you is, don't spoil the reputation. So we have a value system. Don't spoil the value system. Rest everything you can do. You bring in your business plan, take approval from the board, put your budgets on the table, take approval, go ahead and implement it. So we are not asking you to, then I understood it's a big responsibility, because They're not asking me to do anything. I need to find a way. But then I started thinking, it is a great opportunity. So every leader, I would say, if you really wanted to grow in that, if you get an opportunity like this, it is the greatest thing that can come on your table, because people are not asking you anything, but then without changing certain things, the value systems, the brand name, because they know when we entered in India, we are entering into a government customer base. Today, we have a lot of private customers, but then at that time, 70% of business used to be government. And government customers, in general, there's a perception that, it is inefficient, it is that, it is this, it is not transparent. So they were worried that, what will happen? They said, no bribing. You're not going to bribe anybody because our value systems don't allow it. So those are the only things which they asked me. So certain things, as I said, it is not going to change. Now, what about the future as far as the, the teams that could come up in the future? This picture is slightly symbolic. Left side is you have a robot, you have the left brain sitting comfortably. Right side, we have a colorful brain, which is very creative. And if you look at the pattern of jobs which are coming up, every job which can be automated, which can be logically done, is getting automated. That is where the artificial intelligence coming into picture. So where do we fit in? Jobs which needs critical thinking, creative thinking, that's where the human touch comes into picture. So if we are planning a future team, make sure that we align our team to understand this part, that they need to be critically thinking, they need to be very creative, they need to be innovative. Otherwise, we are irrelevant. To be frank, the latest study which I have seen that it says more than 75% of top and middle management people in India, which is above 40 plus category, is going to be either jobless or irrelevant as far as their skill set is concerned the coming days. Probably that will get accelerated with COVID, because COVID brings a huge disruption the way we do things, especially with regard to the virtual engagements, people management, workflow definitions, expectation setting, appraisals, everything is changing. So more innovative ways to motivate people, because the conventional techniques don't work. So going further, leader, ideally in today's scenario, should be agile. When I say agile, he should be open for change. That's what I mean. Agile doesn't mean that he should be fragile. I'll give you a context. In technology field, we call it agile development, agile testing. And I was talking to one senior techie. He shared his experience. Shinto, we started following agile in aerospace industry. I'm afraid the aircraft project which we originally planned, will it become a hovercraft? Because the original idea was something, and with a lot of handicrafts, the craft is there, aircraft, by applying handicrafts, eventually, will it become hovercraft? What has happened is, it became too agile, forgetting all the original goals. So the only definition is actually he should be a coach. I think many of you understand the difference between coach and a mentor, especially in a startup kind of thing. He can easily explain it. Coach is somebody who can really, guide a guy in terms of his professional aspirations, personal aspirations, keeping a distance from the company himself he's working with. Because you might say it's a very selfish approach. But if you look at a guy who's starting a company, entrepreneur, he needs somebody who can really guide him, keeping a distance with the company itself. That's where I learned from my first journey in entrepreneurship. I thought it is my company, I should die for it. Today, when an youngster comes to me, I said, you are a different entity. You're not going to die for the company. Company is another entity. Last week, I was talking to another youngster who started a travel company, travel and tourism. And he said, Shinto, with the COVID, I don't see any end of the tunnel. What do I do? And I said, you want a ruthless answer from me? Yes, Shinto, that's why I'm asking you. I said, I don't see any green light for the next couple of months. So the ideal scenario, I said, is just shut this business. If there is a possibility for you to think about anything else. Yes, Shinto, I see an opportunity to do online teaching for teachers, training programs for schools and colleges. I said, jump into that. That's where the action is right now happening. Forget your... So he has eventually decided to shut his company and go with. So that's what I would say, the real coaching. Now, how many of you can do that with your own direct reportees? It's a question mark, because I have my colleagues, many of them come and ask me very openly, how long do you think I need to work with you? So if you can reach that level of comfort level with your reporting people, I think that's a big achievement, because they have the freedom to ask you, because you know what is going to come from them. That's a kind of transparency we could achieve in today's professional world. Now let me take you to a real problem area. I've been seeing middle-level people who are in their 30s, 40s right now, many of them getting frustrated. And some say, I'm not in a position to ask for even a 5% or 2% salary hike in my company. Forget today's, I'm talking about 1 or 2 years back itself. My juniors are getting promotions. I feel I'm getting stagnated in my career. I'm struggling, I'm working, I'm having EMIs, I'm getting frustrated. I don't know what to do. So nobody is appreciating what I'm doing. I don't get a promotion also. So this is a real challenge for many people. So for the youngsters who are listening to me, many seniors are facing this problem. So if you really want to avoid the situation, we need to rethink. We need to become a great leader who can drive people. Because many of the things what the youngsters are doing, as a senior person, you might be able to do that. So that's where the good leadership comes into picture. See, there are 4 types of leadership style I'm introducing. The first, I would say, the guy who's overconfident, the delusional leader. He is assuming he knows many things, but to be frank, he doesn't know. He doesn't have any abilities. Then we have people who is not even worth. He's not even aware of his anything. He doesn't have any abilities. But there are people who has got some ability, but he doesn't know. We can just help him to come up. Now then, the 4th category, the influential leader. Someone who's easily capable and he's really aware of what he's good at. It is very easy to encash a potential around that person. So we just need to mark right where he is and put a long-term goal. I'm coming to the end of the things that how do we set a long-term goal to reach that level. Now, I said influential leadership could be coming from multiple. It can do in multiple ways. I'll give you a simple example. Your local rowdy in your next street, he's also an influential leader. He's able to threaten people and influence people. We have seen countries becoming suddenly bullying on others and becoming influential. Is that the right approach? Is it sustainable in today's context? I don't think so. In our own organizations which we are living in, I suggest we should aim becoming an influential thought leader. Now, what happens in this journey is you join in as a worker in a company. Initial days, we don't have much money, we don't have happiness, we don't have time. Over a period, what happens? We learn a little bit, we become a knowledge worker. People start feeling, oh, this guy need to be paid a little more better. So I become a knowledge worker. I get my salary hike because company knows that if I don't pay this fellow, he will jump. So the same applies to other domains also. If you go to a teaching, the teacher gets some experience and the teacher starts, next level goes to a PhD degree. And that's the time the management feels, okay, he or she is going to be an asset. If we don't, then we lose him or her. So in other way also, we ourselves feel, okay, I'm worth for asking something because my capability has gone up. I'm becoming slowly, I'm becoming happy. From there, I built my subject technology expertise in a particular area, at least in one area. I'm saying I'm an expert in a particular area. Anything. It could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be, training of somebody, mentoring somebody on a particular subject like economics, maths, statistics, computer science, anything, any subject. So I'm sure, people are having multiple backgrounds listening to me. So I would recommend that, pick up one area which you feel having a future, become an expert in that area. If you don't have subject technology expertise and you start talking about it, people are not going to listen to us. So next level, first level, we are trying to know ourselves. Next level, we are looking at who knows us. The final objective is actually, first, what you know about yourself. Second is who you know in your circle. Finally, we reach a level who all knows us. That is the level, the level we reach a level where we can really have an influence in the community which we live. Now, when you reach that level, slowly you can see this picture. Your financial capability goes up. You are getting more time available because you would have reached a level, more people are working with you comfortably, listening to you. You are able to get things done by those people and you're happy. Today, to be frank, my experience, I'll tell you, I initiate things in my organization because my brain is set like that. I enjoy building new things. Once something kick off, I'm out. People come to me, Shinto, there is something like this. What do you think? I always say, you tell me options here, I will help you to select it. So because of that approach, what happens is they hardly come to me. I have a lot of free time, and that free time, I nowadays use it. You can check in my LinkedIn or Facebook profile. A series of webinars for engineering students, faculties, technology professionals, now working on something for startups, or even for teaching methodologies in an online environment, because those are the areas, I believe people need help. So thanks to COVID, it helps us, listening to more people, attend, listen, learn. So it's a combination of activities. So eventually we reach a level, we get enough time, we get financially comfortable level. But anybody who thinks people work for money, I've seen many people say that, forget all these things. I'm not bothered, I just work for money. My experience is people who have told me that they work for money, eventually they have regretted in life. So I'm sure you know this principle. Last thing, our friend Joe's session, many of you attended, live with a purpose. I strongly agree with what he said, that, finding a purpose in life is very important. And this is one area I believe organizations can, like Transcat, and really help employees as well as organizations, that, how to guide. We did one exercise with Transcat, the same team, Joe and Unikrishnan, 2.5 years back. I wanted my managers, the middle level managers, to go to the next level. And somehow I found that, there are areas which they need actual guidance. And probably, if I make a comment, they may not accept it. They may not like it. Probably they may not believe, because I'm not a hardcore practitioner in HR area. So I took their help. They came down, they had a psychometric analysis, gave feedback. Some of them really took it seriously. They started working on it. Today, if you ask me, they're more receptive. The last 2.5 years, they understood, okay, this old way of working is not going to help me. I really need to go up. I need to get my certifications done. I need to prove myself as a credible professional in the industry. So this is a ladder which is applicable for everybody. And irrespective, you might be a teacher, you might be a doctor, you might be a preacher, you might be a pastor, or a technology professional, or an entrepreneur. The best way today you can make a difference in your organization is become a positive influencing person in that community which we live, organization which we live, especially in today's context, because the soft power what you create is far better than the traditional hard power command control oriented approach. I know many organizations have already practicing all these things. Even years back, I was lucky. I did my MBA in Christ. Madam Sudhamurthy was a faculty in Christ at that time. We were so lucky. You won't believe. Murthy sir, Mandas Pai, Amar Ravichandran, Selvan George. These are the people who taught me. And we were looking at, one day we should try and become like those people in whatever way we can. We have a long way to reach that level, but then looking at those kind of people, it is a big, great inspiration for all of us. So becoming a role model and getting our team aligned to that. And these are some of the traits of an influential leader. He should be consistent, he should be powerful, his pitch should be very strong, that there are some global leaders, you have seen, morning he says something, evening he comes to Twitter and he says something else. He should be, I'm not sure how that will be taken by everybody. It is his personal choice, but I feel, if you are an influential, strong leader, one should be consistent, in our approach. A clear and compelling position on anything, any issues around us, we should have a stand, which we can tell the team. We should have a deep connect in the industry wherever we work, or the community wherever we work. Networking is a key thing. I think all of you have heard of this IQ, EQ, SQ, and some people call it RQ, some people call it, what do you call it? It is nothing but, the SQ stands for your social quotient, how much you are connected in the industry. Today, if I want to hire a senior guy, I will look at, what his connections are. Easily I can find it. There are tools which will give today answer for that. Just run the tool. It will give you what all type of people you are connected in LinkedIn, in Facebook. That's why we say, please have a good LinkedIn profile. Please make sure that what you post in social media is clear, it is ethical, no nonsense, because people are watching you in today's world. Of course, it all depends upon really keen in growing up as a professional and having a title at some point of time as an thought leader in the industry. So, well-known, many of them become well-known speakers, authors. In fact, last week I was doing a session for an engineering organization. I'm talking about engineering college, university. One guy pinged me, how do I become an author, Shinto? I'm a student right now. I said, you can blog. If not, at least write a love letter. Are you doing that? He said, yeah, that I have done, doing enough. I said, writing a love letter is the beginning, man. You are showing all the signs to become a great author at some point of time. Because you are expressed your feelings and ideas, at least to convince somebody, right? So becoming an author, becoming a writer, a blogger, putting positive message that can influence others. Because what you write will, especially in today's social media context, your videos, social media postings, people watch, and that like. So be careful of what you do because you are really bothered about your image. You do command respect if you really wanted to position yourself. I'll give you one example. Earlier days, I used to say to everybody, okay, when somebody asked me to do something, I'm ready, because I came from a background because of my teachers and parents. I could come up in my life. I thought, I should be giving back something to society, whatever way I can. But later on, I realized that, people get a feeling this guy doesn't have any job. That is why he's doing it. So we need to be positioning it. It is not arrogance. Position it correctly. The appropriate positioning is very much important. People should not mistake you. If you're a good influential leader, what happens is people probably will look at, okay, he's talking something sensible, so he might win all the negotiations. There's a possibility of an influential leader will win negotiations. Because negotiation techniques are, some people, I think, even use techniques like transaction analysis, all these things in analyzing people during a negotiations. I train my people, I tell them, look at when you're going for a purchase negotiation, these are techniques people apply on you. So you need to be aware that, these are the things. So even though they are not, grown up in the industry, I found that, they're doing a fantastic job in terms of negotiating, getting a appropriate, I would say, a decent deal for both the parties, I would say. A typical leader of this category would be there in the limelight because he keeps speaking, he keeps writing. Ideally, such people, you will find them, they are very good in mentoring people. This is another interesting aspect because the moment you start mentoring others, two things happen. People get a feeling that, if I go to him, I will learn something from this guy. And eventually what will happen is, it will start attracting fresh talent to you, good contacts to you. And every interaction you with these good people, what happens is, we are learning a lot. I have around, long back, my 5K Facebook friendship got over around 2-3 years back. Most of them are students. Today, to be frank, they are all, 10, 15 years experienced people in the industry. LinkedIn, close to 20K. I am not a paid member in LinkedIn, but then at least a lot of features in LinkedIn I get it free, because I do mentoring in LinkedIn every month. Whatever help I can give it to 2-3 people, I say, okay, they give me a problem. So you can pick up and choose whom you want to mentor. So I suggest, offer your services to others so that, the people who work with you, they know that, this guy is not going to ditch me. Eventually, working with this fellow is worth. Now, this is a triangle. How to become one, an influential leader? You need to position yourself correctly. You need to collaborate with the right set of people, and you need to publish. The publishing could be verbal, could be written, any form. Again, by positioning and publishing, what happens? We are positioning ourselves as an expert on a particular subject. Could be anything. For example, you record a video or record a music and publish it into a YouTube channel. People know you. Okay, this is a good singer, man. Fantastic guy. You become a role model for others by collaborating. People are watching you, and you're building your network by positioning in the right way and collaborating with more people. And how do you reach there? This is the journey, which I would say, once the video is uploaded, I would suggest you go through the slide a little more carefully. You start at, there's a 9 stage. There's no hard and fast rule that you should go to 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Believe me, if you do an introspection, many of us are already halfway through. Many of us are halfway through with your thought process development. So you might be already having an intellectual property with you. You already would have done some publications. You already might have a great idea with you. You already might have a great collaborations. So I'm only saying just amplify it. Initial point is you take a decision that I really want to become an influential thought leader, because it is for my own benefit, not for anybody else. This is where actually you need to, I would say each one of you take a decision. Today onwards or tomorrow onwards, I'm starting my journey. I'm trying to position myself. I talk sensible things. Not that, you can't joke. To be frank, jokes, use it as a very effective, not non-veg jokes, very good jokes, because today people are tensed. Talk to them with a smiling jokes, friendly manner. They all like it. You need to build a good profile. Profile could be, there's a branch of study called image consulting. To be frank, 2005, after closing down my business, I became bankrupt. My profile was totally bad. I had to invest on my brand deliberately, put a plan. Okay, I need to increase my interaction in social media. I need to learn new things. So this is where you do a deliberate planning. There's nothing wrong in doing that, because you're not faking. You're just building your profile from all angles with a clear purpose. And the purpose is very clear. It is linked to your purpose in life. Map it. Because when somebody sees your profile, that okay, you walk the talks, not talk something and does something else. You should have your ideas. You need to nurture it, share it with others. Intellectual property. I'm not saying that you need to have a patent or something. Not possible for everybody, right? But at least whatever you claim, write it, put it on paper. If you can do that, publish it. Actually, you don't have to publish a book today. You can publish it in social media very effectively. Go to LinkedIn. That's the right place to publish. Especially, we should encourage kids in school to publish, write in school magazines, church magazines, temple publications, community publications. Please encourage our kids to publish good things, positive energy. They can spread in our time. Connections building is very important, as I told you. Improve your connections wherever you go. Use this connection to amplify your network. And finally, believe in collaboration. It is very important, getting the collaborative working model. Why I'm saying is, I'll share my experience. Today, I work with a couple of universities. Either I sit on their academic advisory board. Some places my name is not there, but I help them to get their syllabus, or I call it curriculum, because syllabus is different. Curriculum is from people in the academic, they understand that part. So tell them that this is what is probably we can change. Sit in government bodies. I do work with the Bureau of Indian Standards, a couple of industry bodies. Listen, actually, that's the right place to listen and learn from others also. So the collaborative working model will help us where multiple people contribute. We're not alone contributing, right? So I do sit in some committees where I am only a namesake chair. Actually, others are working. But I make sure that, give credit to others. That's where actually we make mistakes. We collaborate. Finally, we eat all the credit. Others don't get credit. So in our office also, we need to make sure that, encourage, nurture this collaborative working model. Like I told you, we created some 6 working groups, which involves every employee in the organization, which eventually led to a lot of collaborative activities, which we need to just enable it, make it that happen in the groups which we work in. And some of the best practices which you can follow, which is already there in the previous slide, you need to have your own style. Following somebody else's style, copying somebody else's style, I won't advise. Suggest also. Keep your integrity. That's the most important thing. People watch us. So if there is a conflict of interest, put that on the table. Tell your boss or colleagues, hey, I can't sign on this. I have a classic example. In one scenario, when 2010, when we started our operation, company was not there. So I had to get all the vendors known to me, because nobody knows whether this company will pay after doing the work. All the vendors were known to me, but within 1 year, we hired a lady to head the operations. I told her, please remove all the vendors, because they are known to me. I don't want my friends and known people as vendors in this company. But if you wish to continue, that is your decision, not my decision. I am totally out of this activity. I will be there to cut the checks. That's a different issue. Invest in yourself in terms of knowledge. Keep learning, reading. Today you have audio books, videos. We don't have to spend that much time. Actually, our kids are so lucky, because we used to struggle like anything for learning. Manage your brand, very important. As I told you, the image is very important. In both in public profile, your social media profile, in the organization. Do your homework properly. Concentrate on future. As a leader, I said, I spend nearly 70-80% of my time. What is there in future for the organization? Hardly probably 15-20% for what has happened, what is happening. There are better people who can do that. So we just need to energize the teams, make sure that, give them a path. I believe the people are many times better than us. My experience is, my people are better than me in many areas. And actually that gives us a lot of bandwidth to do a lot of other things also. Understand them personally, build a rapport, because at least in Indian context, culturally, I'm telling you, people work for bosses, not for the company. So your connect is very important. Position people professionally, that even when you talk to them also, help them, how they can position themselves, how you can position in front of them. Praise, appreciate people. We don't do that. Appreciate in front of others. Scold them. I'm not saying scolding, I mean scolding. If you want to criticize them, call them into your cabin, do that. But keep doing that. The praising part, please do in front of others. Coach a lot of people, because it will help you in future. Coach partnership with your own colleagues and industry people. The reason I'll tell you, when I started hiring managers, what I did was, I didn't hire people with my own experience or expertise. Somebody told me, oh, you don't want a competition for you. I said, no, man. I am weak in many areas. I'm looking for people who can complement me to build this organization. So everybody who reports to me is having a unique skill, which is a big asset for me. And I form it as a partnership. It's a long-term partnership. And I make them to collaborate with the rest of the people. Great things happen. Ask people to open their mouth, encourage them, rather than, we keep telling, like what I'm doing right now. It's a one-way traffic, right? Keep all your questions, so that because very soon, I'll come to the area where I'll try to answer some of your questions. My only request is keep your questions from a practical angle. If you ask me a particular theory how it works, sorry, I will be a wrong person, because as I told you, I'm not a theoretically practicing HR guy. Psychology, I understand. I'm a big fan of people, behavior patterns, but then, it's an ocean. Take risk. It's very important that, leaders take risk, but open to fail. To be frank, today, whatever I am today, because of my biggest failure in life, I became bankrupt. It opened my eyes. Of course, I also realized that, who all are my friends, who all I can depend on in my life if tomorrow something goes wrong. So I would recommend that, you build two types of network. I have three types. Ideally, you should have at least two. The close buddies around you, whom you can check and throw all your pain, passion, in any opinion you can put it on to. They will not ditch you. They will be with you for a lifetime. Today, why people are suiciding? Many people who lose to leadership role, they have stress, they suicide, they have heart attacks. One of the reasons is actually they have not many buddies, friends. Please build that. You can have 5,000, 10,000 friends in social media, but the one who cries with you is your real friend. So make sure that, at least 4 or 5 people you have around you, at least one must, need not be your life partner. It need not be. Could be anyone whom you think, could be a childhood buddy who knows the ups and downs, someone whom you know that, he will be with you for good times and bad times. Anticipate things rather than wait to happen. Expect greatness for everything. Means demand excellence in actions. Don't settle for chodu, basic entry level performance. Put your point very clearly on the table to people. I'm here to make you to excel. So I expect excellence from each one of you. And believe me, the feedback which I got from people who reports to me, they said, Shinto, we joined you with X skills, and you made us on a, learn why is that it goes, keep on going. I said, these skills and knowledge is with you. I'm not taking that. It is with you. It is an investment on you, right? It is right. I said, who is the ultimate beneficiary? It's me. I'm the one who's benefiting. I said, then, why you are telling me that, I only said you keep pushing us. So raise the bar every year with an appreciation that, hey, you did good, you can do better. Now, the next challenge, that very important thing that, I spoke all these things. The key thing in this whole process is we all understood that, I think all of you are listening to me, you are coming from different background, right? I saw even, fathers from the church, people who are in the medical professions, students, and pure academicians, practitioners, industry professionals, business guys. Each one of us, I'm sure, would agree that, we really want to become an influential thought leader. The reason is, in today's scenario, it's a need of the hour. As I told you, many of the old techniques are no more working. But this is something that can work in a real virtual world. It doesn't need boundaries, doesn't need conventional command control environments. So only thing is, we just need to make up our mind. Once we make up our mind, put a plan. So when you prepare a plan, keep this in mind. These 10 questions, some of you have seen, it came in Facebook last year. I'm just repeating those 10 questions. Why should I become a thought leader? One should find an answer for it. Where do I start? I say, as of yesterday, if not at least tomorrow. My sincere request, please don't postpone it. Who I will become? I will become a thought leader. That's my purpose. I'm going to become a great guy. Who will be around me? That is another question. I mean, if I'm going to Central Jail, I'll have all the, I stay very close to, Parapanagrahara Central Jail. So I have all the VIPs next to me. I can even think about go and stay inside. All the best VIPs in this country or the state is with me. So whom I should be around, it is my choice. What will I know? Depends on how much I've learned, what I'm willing to learn to go in this journey. How will I spend my time? It's very important that, should I spend with family? Should I spend with learning something, helping somebody, mentoring somebody? What will I own? Should I own a BMW car or should I own a own home? That's a choice which we all have. What will I be known for? Okay, will I be known for king of good times, king of bad times? That's all your choice. What price I'm willing to pay in terms of putting effort, spending your time. So this is a standard, pyramid structure. This is getting disrupted, getting questioned. I will say today, slowly you will see this 10-year challenge is coming down to maybe 5 or 6 years. That's the way the world is going right now. But I would suggest that, we break your goals into short, medium, and long term, and keep doing a detailed analysis on your career and life mapping. This exercise, if you can do it, at least today's scenario, earlier I used to say 2-3 years, but today's scenario, once in 18 months at least, we should do this. What we are good at, what we are not good at, what are the threats we are seeing, what are the opportunities we are seeing, and reassess. It is not, fragile. It is really agile. I mean, one should be really agile. Then only we can survive in today's. My sincere request is also not done this analysis. Please do this. Go back home. Tomorrow is Sunday. If you can do this exercise for me, I would really appreciate. You are going to see a great change in your life, because after doing that, try to answer those, the previous 10 questions. You will have answers if you've done this. Now, staying relevant with the time is important. There was a time staying relevant in an organization, staying relevant in the industry was great, but today staying relevant with the today's time is important. Otherwise, this is what will happen. The robot will take up all the jobs. We will be sweeping the, and that job also, so robots are doing that. So what we will do? So with this, I just conclude. I work for a company. I thought I'll show one slide what we do. We help companies in various domains to make their product safe and secure. Because since they're paying the salary, I thought I will have one slide. If you wish to know more about us, you can visit www.ldra.com. That's it. So my summary is, each one of us can become, great leaders. It is a need of the hour, and we could practice it. It is a question of choice. Each one of us can make a decision. And today, if you take a decision, I would suggest tomorrow, please do that exercise. Put a plan and keep reviewing that plan maybe every, as I told you, every 18 months. You might need some help. That's where actually Transcat kind of organizations can help you. Because I've seen that happening into my people. They really came, they did a 15 FQA analysis on the people, put the things on their table. Hey, this is what you're good at. So someone probably need to tell you what you're good at, what you're not good at. I've done that multiple times. Ask your close buddies, sometimes your teachers, sometimes your colleagues, sometimes your, immediate boss. Sometimes you may not ask that boss because you don't have trust in him. So you ask someone whom you have trust. And do that exercise, complete it. First round, you need to complete it. Then take help from others to complete it. You could even take professional help. But there are a lot of trained people who can guide you to do that. That's it. With that, if there are some questions, I'll be happy to take it. Vinod?
Good evening again. Thank you very much, Joseph. It was a wonderful presentation, and we did have good number of participants all through the presentation. I leave the floor open, and if we have any questions, I would request you to kindly type, or you could come online and you could ask the questions directly.
Because the issues what each one of you would be facing will be different, because
anybody?
The thing is, the pattern is common. You will find some similarities between each of the professions which you take, but then you might need some, specialized approach The academic community probably would need to think in academic way. The industry guy probably need to look at from an industry angle. Students probably need to look out this whole issue from a different angle. Tech professionals, they need to build in a different way.
Hi, Mr. Shinto. This is Senthil Kumar from Mumbai.
Hi.
Good evening. Very good evening. It was a very insightful presentation. And I have one thing bothering me, and I could able to see you have addressed the same in your presentation also. But still, I have one query. I thought of just clarifying. Is it really important to be very active in social media to credit ourselves as an influential leader?
Okay, it is not a must. It is not a must. But in today's scenario, where business happens predominantly in a virtual world, the physical world is almost dead. And my prediction is future is social. So if you really wanted to, it depends on the category of the jobs which you're taking, where you need a collaborative way of working. Social media is, to be frank, is a must. At least LinkedIn. Forget all other platforms. At least use LinkedIn. Today, LinkedIn is one of the, I'm not promoting LinkedIn or something, but then it is one of the right platforms where you can find like buddies, like-minded people discussing various things. Because sometimes, I always say learn from others. There are a lot of discussions happening. There are a lot of groups there. At least be there in these groups. You will see very interesting discussions happening. You also can follow at least the top thought leaders. I follow around 200 thought leaders worldwide in my business and related areas. Their combined knowledge and what they are sharing is more than enough for me. Why should I go and read all the rest of the things? So these are the areas where you can help. And on the top, suppose I don't know your profession, suppose you are in sales. It is an amazing platform which can help you in building business. So do all these things with a purpose. As I told you, set a goal, set a purpose for your life, and as part of achieving those purpose, social media can be utilized. Don't get addicted to it. Social media has got a minus point. It can create addiction, especially too much of dopamine in our body is not good. I've seen many people getting addicted to social media. So we need to manage social media rather than social media managing us. That's all. Hopefully I answered. Yeah.
Your answer. Thank you very much.
From Mr. J. Kumar.
Can you repeat it? So
shall I ask myself?
Yeah, you could ask
level.
Yeah.
How it is possible and
Yeah, I will ask myself. See, in practical life, we are seeing people without any value system coming up and raised to great senior levels and top leadership. And how is it possible and how it can be addressed?
Your question is people without value system coming up and reaching positions, right?
Yes.
Okay. The answer is, it is very simple. It applies to the ownership lies with the stakeholders. If I have an organization where I have a say, it is my choice to decide what type of organization I'm building. If I promoted a guy who doesn't have any value system, who should be blamed? Me first, not that guy. So people are different. And if the people without value system is coming up using the loopholes, sometimes influence, sometimes politics, sometimes all kind of nonsense they do in today's world. So it is the responsibility of the board. If it's an organization, it is a board is primarily responsible. I report to my UK board, and they keep asking me one question. When you have performance issue, when you have integrity issues, which one you put on the table first? I said, I'm very clear, integrity. Go for it. We are least bothered about somebody not hitting a sales target, because of course that doesn't mean that you can sit in the company for a lifetime. You might fail in your business for 1 year, but then lifelong he will be a big asset for us if his integrity levels are kept intact, and we encourage that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to ask? You could please ask me directly.
Mr. Vinod, there are multiple questions in the chat box.
Correct.
Vinod, I can do one thing. I can read out. Okay, I can pick up these questions.
Yes, please.
There's one question on Nivedita. She's asking how to cope with negative people in our workplace. Wow. Believe me, any workplace is a. I'm sure all of you would have read the book Animal Kingdom. Please read it. You will find the pigs, fox, lions, all kind of people. That is what the beauty of an organization. So, ideal thing what we could do is we should stay focused on what we are. Believe me, typically a negative guy, what he will do, he will try to distract you. And first he will test whether this guy is vulnerable. Now, the moment you give a signal that you are giving too much of attention to a negative person, he or she has won. So the best thing is stay focused on and keep spreading more and more positive things. If you are in a good organization, a day will come, the negative guy will fail. His or her intentions will get exposed. I've seen it happening multiple times in my professional life. So the only thing is have some patience. Don't lose hope. Don't overreact. Your words need to be count. We should not be doing anything unprofessional. We should not be talking anything, doing or talking. Both. Whatever you put on the table, what is driving your value system and the other fellow's value system is different, right? So just stay focused. If you are in a good organization, a day will come. I'm telling you, you will not find it that your decision was wrong. Just be assured. It's only a matter of time. People with the value system will come up. I have a classic example. When we joined in India in our business, everybody said Indian defense is corrupt. Believe me, 10 years I completed in certain sectors. We are 90% market share in business without spending 1 rupee on so-called unethical practices. People appreciate it. So it's a question of, it took time. It took actually 3.5 years effort that we put in the beginning to sweat it out to reach that level. So once you reach that value system, I think you'll be able to survive. You mentioned that, it's a question from Anurag. You mentioned that, you should have 3 types of company, one close buddies, at least one, where are the other 2 company recommend? Oh, okay. My pattern, probably others might have a different opinion. What I do is, I have typically, in my social media, around 20,000 in LinkedIn, 5,000 is the upper limit in Facebook. Are they my close buddies? No way. They are mostly my professional relationship. Bye. That's all. Some of them are actually, they are listening to me. So they are not in my so-called inner circle. So, but we do have other set of people, some of them, a small subset of this, probably a number will be 15, 20, whom they also know you, but then you don't share all what you shared with your close buddy, right? With these 20 people. So I do deliberate filtering in this. So I cannot tell that, who all are there in my 20, because the other 25,000 might feel bad. So we should not do that. So be selfish. It is your life. How you build your network, how you manage your network is your choice, because I strongly believe our life is our life. So we live for a purpose, and to achieve our purpose in life, we need networks. And for a thought leader or anybody who works in this space today, as I told you, social media, if you can use as an effective tool, use it. But then don't take everything in virtual. Whenever you can meet people, please greet. Again, don't encourage, some people think that, socializing means drinking. Sorry, I differ. I do drink, but draw a line. It is going to kill your health. So I hope I had answered your question. We have a question, sir. If I want to become an entrepreneur, what I have to do, where I should start? Wow. You would have asked me the question looking at my background. This is something like, last month I did a session for a university. One student asked me, can you recommend a book, how to become a successful entrepreneur? And I said, please stop reading all those successful entrepreneurs' book, because you are the biggest book as far as you are concerned as an entrepreneur. So my suggestion to you is, those who study physics, there's something called threshold energy, right? Threshold energy is a energy level for an electron. If the energy level increases, finally, it just gets out of the orbit. So you need to ask yourself whether you reach that level of entropy or energy level where you just want to be independent. You realize that you're no more a guy who wants to work for somebody else. You might need help from somebody else to cross-check your thought process, whether you are right or wrong. That is where actually the coaches can really help you. Experience matters a lot, but believe me, I ventured into my business with less than 2 years experience. Today, when I look back, is it a right decision? I still believe I made the right decision, but many people told me, you did not have enough experience to get into a highly complex business which you entered. It is not like a normal business what you entered. So network, again, there are a lot of organizations like TIE, professional bodies where there is a startup forum. Government of India has got a startup forum. All these guys are very active in LinkedIn. Please get into LinkedIn, join these forums, and they have groups also. So network, listen, first observe what others are doing and identify a killer idea, go behind it. Please don't copy anybody's business. And especially in today's scenario, getting funding is going to be extremely difficult. So your investor will definitely look at a profitable business. So make sure that you have a killer idea which will fit in today's market. There are a lot of ideas, because as I told you, COVID brings a whole lot of opportunities. It is not just problems. The new normal gives enough opportunity for entrepreneurs. You just need to rethink. As I told you, earlier I said, to a guy who just started a company on travel and tourism, I said, just shut it, man. He said, I'm okay, I have no sentiments. Then I told him, you are a true entrepreneur. आपके लिए कोई sentiments नहीं है for what you started. 5 months you worked, you made it, but then you are taking a decision to start it. Great. How, there is a question from Darshan, how is design thinking helps you to build leadership qualities? Okay. Design thinking is an innovation tool, right? You would have heard of even the Russian TRIS kind of tool also. Leader is somebody who can inspire others with an innovative way of thinking, right? Innovation helps you to come up with fresh ideas. It need not be your idea. That is where the catch point. All these days you think, you need ideas, right? I'm telling the idea of the team is your idea. That is where the design thinking, the collaborative working model comes into picture. So use that tool effectively. End of the day, as a leader, what is mattering is whether you achieved something, right? Give the credit to your team. Please don't tell that, I did it. Initially, you need you're a catalyst. You're a catalyst. That's it. You just need to be very clear when your exit will start. So if you can use that approach in today's context, where collaborative working model, virtual environment, apply design thinking principles, you can do wonders. We have a question from Harish Balasubramanian. What should be the ideal mix of soft skills and functional skills? Wow. It depends on the role you are going to take up in career. I'll give you an example. If you are going to become a CEO of a company, believe me, a general understanding of all the subjects is good enough. There are n number of people around you who can help you. I depend on my managers. Fantastic managers I have. If I ask them to prepare a PPT for a subject, I only give the broader outlook. They will come up with. I have friends in the industry whom I consult. But then what I should be good at is, my ability to communicate, ability to collaborate, motivate people. That is something which I cannot depend on others. So depending upon if you're a technical ladder you're going, technical skills matters first, along with a little bit of soft skills. But as you go up in the ladder, your soft skills, that balancing act comes into picture. So make sure that you have the right mix depending upon the purpose what you have set it in life. That's what I would suggest. Okay, I have a question from Mr. Satya. I was in travel industry for 20 years, got saturated, shifted to counseling, psychology, and life skills trainer, good journey. But struggling to myself. So my request is actually just relook that your collaboration capabilities, whether you can position yourself as a leader visible for others, because that is very important. Because I might be good, but then how do I make myself visible for others? That is very important. So build your network. Start a page in Facebook. LinkedIn. Please open an account. Connect with the right set of people. There's a question from, is it only the qualities of person, this is from Sukumar, Professor, okay, Dr. Sukumar, is it the only qualities of person makes a successful leader, or is it the person who decides their own leader to shape a vision? It's the people who decide. Okay. I would say we live in a democratic world where end of the day it is a people's choice. If I'm working in my father's company, then I am a by default person. But there are guys like you would have seen what Asim Premji did. Asim Premji first he sent his son to GE, get trained and came back, became a hardcore professional before he started handing over the patent. But even now, he still depends on professional help. So it is a balancing act. End of the day, if it's a great organization, it has to be accepted by the people. People will be the king. I have a question from Dr. Vijaya. During COVID-19, how the leadership works? That's where actually I said this topic comes into picture. It is the indirect influence that can make it. The conventional command control is no more going to work. Please use, if possible, you can use video platforms to engage people, not just chat alone. Talk to them once in a while, video calls. Make sure that you do that. You can have Skype groups to interact with people. There are multiple ways. But you need to become a bit tech savvy, because technology helps you. Don't get addicted to technology, but use technology to come across, utilize, to pass through the current crisis period. Krishnan, that's a question. I know how many years you took to reach the current stage of investing 70% of your time. Okay. My journey, as I told you, I would say the decision I took when I lost everything. That's the time, people start thinking. I went to my mom. I can be open. We lose everything. Whom you go when you fail? Normally we go to our mother. Nobody else. Nobody else will listen to you. And she didn't ask me anything. Both of us were looking at each other. She asked 2 questions. You had a good time. How many people you helped? You see, I had gone through a lot of bad times. I had not sent back anybody from my home, even in my bad time. How many people you help? Think about it. I don't need an answer. Unfortunately, she is no more today. The second question she asked, think about, Shinto, my son, have you done anything wrong which you feel against your value system? Again, think it over. She told me, I don't need an answer. Think. These 2 things will drive you the rest of the life. So that day I started thinking. I could not do much because I was struggling with my debts to clear all these things. When I joined, I would say, but I had made up my plan. I realized that, I need to improve on my skills. I need to network. I started, getting more, reaching out to people instead of, there's a tendency when you fail in life now, you go to, what do you call the secluded mode approach. Don't do that. Interact, but stand up. People should see that, we are standing up. And thereafter, make a deliberate plan. The day I joined LDRA, I made up my mind. But first 1 or 2 years, I was with my team. I was setting up because I had a responsibility. Probably 2012-13 time, that was a turning point. So it took almost 7-8 years of deliberate attempt. So if you ask me, almost 8 years it took. I hope I answered your question. I think we are done. I'm not sure.
There are a couple of more questions. You can see in the chat box.
Yeah. I think the last one is again from Sukumar sir.
Dr. Jonas has asked something.
Sir, Jonas sir,
something
something soft power in academic circle. Actually, you asked the right question. I have a lot of regards for my teachers. To be frank, I became an engineer because of my PU class teacher. And I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to go to degree and learn, go for B.Ed. The influence which that teacher, my class teacher, had on me. One day he called me and he said, "You're not going for entrance?" I said, "No, sir, I'm not going for entrance. I'm going for degree." "What degree?" "Degree maths." "What, man? You're one of the brightest students I ever seen, but why?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know what to do." So what he did is, he took me to another 4 or 5 professors. Within a week, the professor has completely influenced my, thoughts. So this is what I say the soft power, one level of soft power in academic circle. It's the integrity with which, the passion with which a professor passes his knowledge and experience to a student is a different kind of equation. That is one level of equation where, the teacher become a role model. I've seen that, we still remember our nursery teacher. I still remember. She was a nun. And every time when I go back, I tell my aunt, she's also a nun. I said, I want to meet that nun, because the kind of impact they create on us is terrific. There's another aspect is your peer group. I think that's the biggest issue today's world. In terms of peer group in academic circle, building your intellectual capabilities, getting expertise, your PhDs, your papers, how many papers you publish, how you collaborate with your students and the rest of the faculties and outside the institution. For that, you should be in a great institution. Luckily, you are at the right place, because I know Father Joskuti, he was my mentor in MBA, where the institution should have a culture to nurture the faculty's capabilities and thought processes, and encourage them to go and even present papers in other forums. So be in a good institution where the peer group networking and intellectual activities are encouraged, along with the student connect. And over a period, what will happen is the student connect will drive you to heights, because the student connect, if you have done the right thing for your students, I'm telling you, they will never forget. Till they die, they will be remembering their teachers. So I would say your soft power is more with the students. The asset, long-term asset of a teacher. Today, if you ask me, my wife is a teacher. So I can see that whenever the kids, they call her from Hong Kong, from US, Mom, I have done my PhD thesis. See the joy they share. I hope I answered my question. Your kids are your biggest asset. Looks my colleague. I think Neeraja is my colleague. She's asking, where are the creative skills that the current aspirants should be? What are the creative skills that the current aspirants should try developing? Okay. She's a marketeer, so creative skills, it depends upon anything is creative, but we need to clearly define, again, related to your objective in life, what you want to achieve. Priority should be for that. List down those things. For example, if someone want to become a musician, he should practice music on a daily basis, especially the right side of the brain need to be exercised properly. Give more thrust on someone who wants to become a digital marketer. His way of looking at a creative side is slightly different. So define your purpose, map your activities to that purpose. Otherwise, what happens, I want to become a creative person. Every areas I put my fingers, eventually I lose my focus. So just stay focused on what you are doing, because staying focused is very much important, especially in today's turbulent world. Just because of you are a failure, you did some design that went wrong. No, I mean, as I told you, I'm the biggest example for failure. I would say failure is the biggest lesson in life. I think if you can understand, keep trying, keep experimenting it, take criticisms from others positively, because many a times the pattern, that there's a famous saying. I have a page in Facebook. You can find that it came from Charlie Chaplin. First you do something, people will criticize you, they laugh at you. Finally they observe you. Finally they might follow you, or they might, it is my idea. That is what the whole world is all about. So failures and criticisms, you can take it in a positive spirit. You will be continuing growing with your creative skills. I think we have touched 8:30 already.
Yes, Mr. Shinto. This has been a wonderful session, and I still see the questions popping up. So it's been a very, very exhilarating session, and thank you very much for your time today. And also appreciate all the participants today for being logged in till 8:30. Touchwood, we had excellent network connectivity all through. So our videos and the audio sessions has been good. Thank you very much again, Mr. Shinto. And to take it forward, we have planned 2 more sessions coming in this month. One is on June 27th, between 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. We have an excellent one at this time again. This is for cybersecurity, that is safe usage of social media and internet. This will be presented by Mr. Sebastian Edesheri. He is an MS in cyber law and cybersecurity. He's currently the director and CSO forensic team with Deloitte Southeast Asia. And he is a former CBI officer and master trainer in technology crimes Interpol. This will be organized in collaboration with Rotary Bangalore Sneha and Merit Matters Academy and HR Services Private Limited. On the 28th of June, that's a Sunday, we have a session in the afternoon. This will be between 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. India time. So this will be for how to conduct interactive online sessions. So primarily we are looking at the academicians or teachers or professors who are conducting sessions online. This will be hosted by Dr. Preeti Modi Iyer, and she's part of our team, and she's from the lead and digital learning. This will be on the 28th June, Sunday. The feedback link will appear to you on your email. Thank you again. Thank you very much. We shall also send you the e-certificate of participants once we receive your feedbacks. Our contact details are here. contact@transcat.in, and the mobile numbers 95902020404 and 98452288481. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vinod, for the wonderful job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shinto. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
all the viewers, all the participants.